Hi guys, it's Josh Lloyd here, NBA First Look for DraftKings for Wednesday. Before we get into it, hit the notification bell, give it a thumbs up, leave your comments down below as well during the video. Now let's talk about these games. First game up on a 9-game Wednesday in the NBA, the Minnesota Timberwolves against the banged-up Indiana Pacers. The Pacers were without Sabonis and Brogdon on Tuesday, and then Miles Turner hurt his ankle. The expectation, from me at least, is that Sabonis and Turner both won't play in this game. Brogdon is up in the air. We don't know whether he'll be ready to go, but that opens up quite a bit of value for Minnesota. And let's start with a minimum salary player who could be the starting center, and that is Goga Bitadze. Yeah, Goga's been playing, I think, better than minimum salary anyway. You're putting up 17, 20, 13, 13, like that's fine. And then he has an opportunity to play 20 plus minutes. I'm in on Goga here. That's under the assumption that Sabonis and Turner don't play, which is how I'm believing it's going to go. Jakar Sampson also could be an option. He's a minimum salary player. He'll get minutes at the 4 and at the 5, so he could be an option to use there, while Karis LeVert's going to get a ton of usage again at 7,100, and he makes quite a bit of sense here too. You could look at McDermott at 4,100. I'm not as excited there, but I also think that Jeremy Lamb at 3,400 could be someone to look at. Lamb had a pretty good game on Tuesday with a lot of those absences, and TJ McConnell at 51 is also in play. There is a lot to like about this Pacers team just in terms of the opportunities that are going to be afforded to us. Now, we know that D'Angelo Russell has returned for the Wolves. He dropped 41 in his first game in just 24 minutes. Now, I think that level of production is probably not something we're going to completely expect, but at 6,400, he's at least marginally interested. 77 for Anthony Edwards feels probably a little bit too high with Russell taking a bit of usage there, and 10.7 for Towns. I like Towns at that price. He can easily exceed that value. Jaden McDaniels is a guy who struggled in the last game with some foul trouble, but usage will go down with Russell there. But I don't completely hate using him. He is averaging 26 over the last 5. I think he's all right, but there are, in general, going to be other options that trump him. Pretty hard to use a Rick Rubio in this one as well, considering we don't know what his role is going to be, whether he starts or not. The next game that we take a look at here, second game of the day, we've got the Washington Wizards and the Orlando Magic. For this game, we have a couple of injury situations to monitor. Brad Beal and Rui Hachimura are questionable, as is Robin Lopez. The Lopez one is super intriguing because it means that Gafford and Lopez would be out, and then we'd have to get a lot of Alex Len. For Orlando, both Michael Carter-Williams and Cole Anthony are questionable, so that's going to influence the value of, say, an RJ Hampton who started the last game, and Kem Birch is also questionable, although I don't expect Birch to even play that much in this game, even if he's ready to go. Wendell Carter Jr. is at 6,000. That seems like an egregious underprice. He's averaged 40 points the last 3 games. In fact, he's averaged 41. He's putting up big numbers, and do you actually think that Alex Len is going to stop him? I would be pretty skeptical about that. I'm using Westbrook, especially if Beal is out, but even if Beal is in, I think 11,100 works. 95 for Beal, no chance. And then there's just a bunch of unknowns with Cole Anthony, Michael Carter-Williams, RJ Hampton. Now, if Anthony and Carter-Williams are out, RJ is at 4,500, and I think that would make a little bit of sense. But if Anthony does play, it is pretty tough. And then Chuma Akiki's at 58. Now, Chuma has been playing at a really, really high level, putting up some strong games, 41, 30, 32, 31. So hasn't gone under 30 in his last 4. 5,800 is a pretty high salary. I'm not completely ruling him out as an option, but I am a little bit more skeptical. Denny Avdiya's at 5,100, and if Beal does not play, I think Avdiya is going to get a lot of minutes and can easily be a 28 to 29 point producer. And then you got Len at 4,600, who we don't know what Scott Brooks is going to do. Generally, Brooks will choose the incorrect option whenever he has that ability. But if Lopez is out, there is no other option apart from Anthony Gill, although maybe we get Gill at center minutes again. Davis Bertans will probably start in place of Hachimura if Rui is out, but at 4,300 he's only really a GPP option in my mind. Next up, we've got the New Orleans Pelicans and the Brooklyn Nets, another game where some injury concerns are definitely going to play a part in what we do here. The Pelicans had Zion Williamson return on Tuesday, but we don't know whether Brandon Ingram will return to action on Wednesday. Jackson Hayes hurt himself in Tuesday's game, and then Kyra Lewis is out. We know that Josh Hart will be out. We know that Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be out. Zion's at 9,000. He just put an absolute bomb in that game. Like, he was unbelievably good. Again, I like Zion here quite a bit. There's no James Harden for Brooklyn, but Kevin Durant is likely going to return, most likely on a minutes limit. And then we have to watch Kyra Lewis, because with no Alexander Walker and no Hart, if he is ready to play at 4,300, I'd be okay with using him. But if he is out, then we look at Isaiah Thomas, who could have another pretty solid role at 4,900. Both of those guys, just depending on scenarios. I think LaMarcus Aldridge at 56 is at least marginally interesting. I'm not, falling in love with it, but it's marginally interesting. And then you got Joe Harris at 61 with Durant back. I just don't really see the value in him. I do like Kyrie a little bit at 10-2. Actually, I like him a lot at 10-2 with no Harden. That should bump his assist. And he's already averaging 53 points over his last 5, Kyrie. You could look at the Shark, Bruce Brown at 5,000, but I'm not completely infatuated there. And 6,200 for Eric Bledsoe, I do think looks all right, especially if we do hear that Kyra Lewis does happen to be out in this one. That means extra minutes coming towards Bledsoe. The next game, the New York Knickerbockers. They are taking on the Boston Celtics. This is a back-to-back for Boston, so Kemba Walker is going to be resting in this game. So usage bump for guys like Jaylen Brown at 7,800, which I like quite a bit. Marcus Smart at 6,000, which again, I like quite a bit. Rob Williams was in real disaster zone territory against Joel Embiid. Nerlens Noel and Taj Gibson not really going to be the same. So I think Williams is a nice bounce-back candidate here. While RJ Barrett's at 6,600 has been disappointing, averaging just 24 over the last 5, Rowan Barrett. I think he can put up some okay numbers. Well, Julius Randle's at 99. I love Randle at that price. He is just putting up big game after big game. I'd be hesitant to use Nerlens Noel. I wouldn't want to use Burks or Payton. Reggie Bullock perhaps at 49, but I'm not particularly interested there. We don't know if Tristan Thompson will play. I doubt he does, but there is a chance that he could finally return to action in this game. Next game we look at is the Dallas Mavericks. They are taking on the Houston Rockets. In Houston, no spread or total out. Johnny Wall is questionable for Houston, while Kristaps Porzingis, Trey Burke, and Maxi Kleber are all questionable for Dallas. Kleber's at 4,300. Very hard to get excited about him, and it's the same hardness to get excited about Christian Wood, and that hardness and Wood joke were not meant to go together, but there you go. 8,600 for Woody, who cannot hit shots at all at the moment. Maybe is a GPP guy, but I have zero confidence. I have way more confidence in Kelly Olynyk at 5,900, who's just giving us 30s pretty much every night he's out there. And Doncic at 10,9 is a good way to spend a lot of cash. Richardson's at 48. I don't love it. Porzingis at 86. I also don't love it, although the matchup does suit him. He's averaging, KP, 59 points the last 3 times against Houston. That is obviously a huge amount. Johnny Wall's at 81. No way. Kevin Porter's at 72. I'd be very interested in KPJ, if Johnny Wall is out. Otherwise, I'd probably be a little bit more lukewarm on him, while Avery Bradley, DJ Augustin, very hard for me to get too excited about those guys. Memphis and Atlanta back-to-back for both of these teams, after obviously playing on Tuesday, because that's exactly what a back-to-back means. The Hawks are 2-point favorites, and the total is 229. No John Collins, no DeAndre Hunter. We don't know whether Justice Winslow will play, or Brandon Clark will play, or DeAnthony Melton will play for Memphis. They all missed out on Tuesday. Jonas Valanciunas at 7,200. I think that's a pretty good spot. He's averaging 45 the last 3 times against Atlanta. I like him there. And I like Trae Young at 8,800, although his recent production hasn't quite been where we need it. Ja Morant at 71. I love that low salary. He is inconsistent for sure, but I like the low salary. And 87 for Clint Capella I like a lot as well. Without John Collins, he's getting a ton of run. Bogdanovic is at 65. That might be pushing a little bit too high for me. Herter at 51 with those absences could be worth a GPP look. And Gallinari at 6,000. If they don't rest him, I do like him again with all those power forward and small forward absences. Grayson Allen at 49, maybe. Dylan Brooks at 56, maybe. They're just GPP guys that I don't feel particularly comfortable with. Next game we've got is the Charlotte Hornets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. This one could be interesting with all those Thunder injuries. Again, no Lou Dort, no Baisley, no Roby, no Horford, no Gilgeous-Alexander. The Hornets are without Hayward and Ball as well, and they are 4.5-point favorite, Charlotte, and the total is 214 points. We've seen Tony Bradley eating into the C-parter, Moses Brown's minutes. Bradley's at 4,000. I don't mind him as a GPP guy if they decide to split those minutes again. Miles Bridges at 5,000, I think, is one of the better plays on the board, so I am into that one. And Alexei Pokusevski at 56 also feels relatively solid at that sort of salary. Graham's at 69, Devontae Graham, probably a little bit too high, and Teo Maledon at 54 is a nice GPP guy. No one's going to be rostering PJ Washington Jr. because he's been downright shithouse, averaging 19 points over the last 5, but this is a great opportunity for him to drop one of those patented 45 or 50 bombs, so I think that we can at least consider PJ as a guy that not that many will be going for. And Svi Mikhailiuk at 5,500, he's up and down for sure, but he's got 32, 33 point potential, which is, you can't ask for too much more than that. And then Ty Jerome at 44, another interesting enough GPP type upside play. The next game is the San Antonio Spurs. They are taking on the Denver Nuggets. This is a back-to-back for Denver. San Antonio, DeJounte Murray remains questionable, while Lonnie Walker is out once again. Jamal Murray missed on Tuesday. We don't know if he'll be ready to go. Jokic is at 10-6. Big chungus at that price. Love that. And he didn't have to overextend himself too much against Detroit, or at least at the time of me recording this. They've got a pretty comfortable lead. DeRozan at 82 is probably too high for me, while Porter at 71, Michael Porter, I do like that for Mick. I think there is some pretty good value in that. Derek White's at 63 on the high side. Aaron Gordon at 65, also probably a little bit on the high side. In fact, this matchup in general is not one that I'm particularly interested in. I would look at Monty Morris at 3,700 if we do have news that the headmaster Jamal Murray does happen to be sidelined. The last game of the day is the Utah Jazz taking on the Phoenix Suns. A pretty high caliber matchup here. The Jazz are 2-point favorites and the total is 225. Abdul Nadir is once again out for Phoenix. DeAndre Ayton's at 6,800. I absolutely hate using him here against Rudy Gobert. No way. Gobert's at 79. I think that makes quite a bit of sense. I'd be pretty into using Gobert against DeAndre Ayton, while McCall Bridges at 55. I'd rather Miles, but McCall at 55 is all right. And Don Mitchell was a real stinker last game. I hate his salary. 88 is just too high for me. Booker at 93 is pushing a little bit too high, but I feel much more comfortable about using Booker at that price, or even Chris Paul at 8,500 in this matchup against Utah. But this one could be one that is not the ideal one to have a look at from a DFS perspective, just because of the defensive abilities. If we look overall at the slate, I really love Goga at minimum salary. I like Wendell Carter. I like Ty Jerome, Jakar Sampson, Miles Bridges, Jaylen Brown. Jaden McDaniels, perhaps, Karis LeVert, maybe Jeremy Lamb, Valanciunas, Trae Young, maybe Justin Robinson in OKC, Alexei Pokusevski, Nikola Jokic, TJ McConnell, Ja Morant, Maladon, Westbrook, Tatum, and Marcus Smart all come through looking pretty damn good to me, guys. That'll do it for me. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell, give a thumbs up, and leave your comments down below. And good luck with setting your lineups. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. See ya.